Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Lighthouse Sessions. I'm excited today. I have my new friend, Toby Blatchford-Tagg. Toby is joining us all the way from the United Kingdom. Toby, why don't you just introduce yourself, tell my audience a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Hi, Jeff. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, we're the Lead Lab. We've been going for about 17, 18 years now. A long time ago, we were a telemarketing company. 7 or 8 years ago, we transitioned into a LinkedIn automation at scale company. So we take clients with 3 profiles, and we work with lots of small businesses, one-man bands. And we also work with clients that have 50 million turnover and have 100 of their sales team on our software. We facilitate the software with the service, so LinkedIn automation, the data management, the response management, and we help people take it from doing it themselves manually or just doing it themselves on a bit of software with one profile, and we help them scale that. All about becoming a nice, sustainable marketing pillar inside, every entrepreneur's toolbox, really.
I love it. And why did you get into this particular field? What was your origin story? Because
Great
almost
question.
always it's somebody had a pain and they found a way to solve it. So,
well, yeah. So 7 or 8 years ago, we were a telemarketing company. We used to build our business off the back of the first 10 years of email marketing that appeared to be personal in mass. Sort of fell off a cliff back then. It did have a resurgence and has gone again in the last couple of years, but that's really where we were very reliant on that. And we used to have a international team that manually, firstly, I did it myself manually, and you realize I couldn't keep doing this forever. It was ridiculous. So we had an international team manually doing it. And back then, LinkedIn didn't have any restrictions. So one profile, you could pretty much connect and message people all day. And we sort of had the eureka moment where we were getting our leads from LinkedIn outreach that we were doing manually, and we were selling people telemarketing. And we were like, we don't even do telemarketing ourselves. And we've got 40 telemarketers in our office, and we don't even use it for our own, and we get it at cost, et cetera, et cetera. And then, I think telemarketing's sort of been a dying art for the last 5, 6, 7 years. And even for the people that didn't get out, good luck to them now. But, Apple have put in things that mean you can literally screen any call that rings you. So look, I don't know how people are making that work anymore. And that was the sort of moment we were like, now what happened was in COVID, we didn't really have, at the time, pre-COVID, we were getting these leads from LinkedIn, and we didn't have the way of scaling it and getting our clients to be able to use it, because obviously to do that manually with a human resource internationally would have been an absolute nightmare. So COVID really allowed us the time to restructure the business, work with the software companies to get what we wanted from an outreach point of view. And we haven't looked back, really. There was obviously a lot of dead time where a lot of business people weren't picking up the phone. So me and my business partners had time to look at what we wanted to do and just totally restructure the business. And you go from clients having to pay us $5,000-$6,000 a month for a full-time telemarketer now to working with us for as little as $600 a month, and sometimes getting even better results, never mind a better CPA, which is crazy, right?
I love all of that. And the thing I found most amusing was your revelation that we don't do this ourselves. Why are we selling it?
I know, yeah.
I get that all the time. People will cold outreach me and say, oh, we can help you get clients. And it's like, what if I told you I don't need you? I get clients coming to me. And they're like, tell me more.
You tell me what to do. You flipped on them.
It is. I have. It's amazing because one of the best things I do to get clients is I let people cold outreach me and pitch me, and I'm like, is that really the best use of our time together? You're gonna throw me this awkward pitch. So
yeah. Oh, it's so true. And I've had similar cases where I get an email or something like that, or I even get letters nowadays, which is actually quite a cool outreach process nowadays, but very expensive. And I've got clients from going back to those individuals and saying, look, whatever you're doing on letter or an email, I can double the response rate on LinkedIn.
Love it. Well, let's talk about the pivot. So you've got some software you're using. We're not going to talk about software mainly, but what are you finding works on LinkedIn right now? Because I'm fascinated. I apparently do LinkedIn wrong. We won't get into that, but all of the experts that reach out to me, and I find it fascinating because they're marketing people reaching out to me. They tell me I'm doing LinkedIn wrong, and I'm like, I find it amazing that you know what I'm doing by looking at my feed. But what are some of the big mistakes you're seeing people making right now in general with LinkedIn outreach? What are they doing right? What are they doing wrong?
Well, without going into too much detail, just to give you a 3 or 4 over the top, and then we can obviously get into the detail later on if you want to. You've got data building is the number one mistake people make. They trust Sales Navigator way too much, which is a long story we can get into if you want. The messaging journey, people get wrong dramatically because they make it about me, when we're all selfish human beings, and to be honest, nobody cares. Then you've got lead enrichment. So once you get a positive response, the ability to enrich that person's data with mobile numbers and email addresses, so that if they don't go on LinkedIn again for a week, you can reach out to them. And there's softwares we use for that. Also, consistency of follow-up. We work with a lot of clients that are directors of businesses or finance directors or whatever it may be. An entrepreneur is a prime example, where they get a lead, they call it, they email it once, and they think they're done. And it's like, well, that's not quite how it works, unfortunately. The good thing about our telemarketing background is we understand the value of consistency and persistence. Once you get that positive response, just sending one message or making one phone call isn't necessarily the answer. You do have to, we're targeting high value people. Whether it's an entrepreneur, an MD, a head of marketing, head of HR, whatever it is, those people are high, and you've gone to them, remember? So it's not priority number 3, not priority number 4, it's priority number 12 in their list. So you've got to create that urgency. And that's one of the four things I would say are the top things that people get wrong doing it themselves. And a fifth, is that they don't do it in enough volume. They do it manually themselves, inconsistently. We always use the analogy of each profile. It's like the old analogy of they give you so much time in the day, and if you don't spend it, you don't get it. It's the same principle of LinkedIn connecting and messaging. If you don't use them, they're gone. And that's one of the beautiful things about automation. They make sure that you don't miss out on any of those outreach opportunities.
I love that. Now, let's talk about some of the things you do, because before we hit record, you were telling me you do a regular webinar. What are you teaching people? What are they going to learn when they come to the Lead Lab webinar?
Well, to be honest, we actually show a lot of the softwares we use. We also show softwares that we don't use that might be helpful to one-man bands. So our client base is probably about 10% in the 50 million turnover up, 60, 70% in the 1 to 10 staff, and then the rest in the middle of that. And we like to try and give value at both ends. So if you're a one-man band, giving you the tools like certain AI tools to help with copywriting. Again, not to go into too much detail, but we don't recommend using it fully. But it's great for when you've got a mental block or you don't know where to start. There's some great tools out there to get you started, and I think that's important. We also talk about the tools to pull that information from LinkedIn, how to manage the response, the lead data enrichment, basically all the technical tools you need alongside the automation, because the automation is just one part of the process. Getting the data right is really important. Getting the messaging journey, the speed of response, the enrichment of data at the end to follow up with a high value individual. All these technologies covered in our 40, 50 minute webinar we do. We try to answer questions during it as well. And in that webinar, you do have an opportunity to book a free one-to-one. We don't charge at all. It's just really an opportunity to look at your LinkedIn profile universe. You might have 2 salespeople or 2 other directors, or you might have a team of 50 salespeople like some of our clients, but the majority is smaller businesses. We look at their client universe. They might not even know how many people there are on LinkedIn for them, and we can tell them that number, all that sort of stuff. If they're doing something already and they've got a messaging journey, we can tell them, I would change this, I would change that. And we just believe that in the long term, that comes back to us by referral, or they come back to us as a client in a year's time, or lots of people become a client straight away off the back of webinars. but at the same time, it's really about giving to get back at some point.
I love that, and that's very near and dear to my heart because if first of all, if I don't like somebody, I don't want to work with them. I'm a low volume, high relationship kind of person. But one of the things I'm going to pull back to the mistakes you're seeing, a lot of people are doing things with zero thought to the strategy behind it. And I'll make you cringe a little, but I'm surprised how many people I meet that can't tell me who their audience is. And to me, that's like the first thing, you know, after, hey, I want to start a business, who do I serve? Feels like the first real decision.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that LinkedIn Outreach does is it does teach you that as well, because a lot of our clients come to us and they've got a rough idea, but they don't know exactly. Now, after you've done a year of LinkedIn Outreach, for example, or even 3 months, you've actually got numbers to reference back what is working. Oh, actually, companies with 1 to 10 staff hated us, but companies with 10 to 50 staff loved us, and so on. And it's really hard to know that before doing outreach sometimes, because you've just got your referral leads or whatever, and then you can reallocate. I mean, one thing that was massive to us 3 years ago, we just suddenly went, hang on, we can do any country in the world. Why do we only do the UK? Now we've got more clients in the US than we do in the UK. But I think our price point is super engaging over there, and it's a great market for us.
All right. Well, let's talk about what does it look like to work with you, and then, we'll come back to some of the other comments. But how does somebody work with you? What's the starting point? Obviously, the webinar would be what I think would be a first step. But
great. Yeah, well, I mean, people can sign up for the webinar if they like what they see in the webinar and think there's value and experience in what we're talking about, and they think, oh, actually, I'm not going to do this myself. I'd probably better off getting them to do it for us, which is, great if they want to do that. Then they can book the webinar. Then they speak to one of our four people that look after the webinar views. All of the people are actually on the webinar as well. So it's almost like carrying on a conversation in a one-to-one, which is great. And then after that, if they did want to move forward with us, we've got different packages on the amount of profiles you have, starting at the $600 for 3 profiles, and then so on as it goes up. So it's really about what's right for them. We have some clients that start with 10 profiles and build from there. Some clients that are one-man bands that maybe we can also rent people profiles. So we work with a lot of one-man bands that are looking to get started that don't have any employees to put on there. So we rent them real people's profiles backed by passports to facilitate that scale, because one profile can only connect and message so many people. And it is obviously a volume play. So more profiles really allows for that. And then once they want to go forward, they get an onboarding form. They book in with our copywriter who writes the messaging journey for them, but also looks at their targeting, builds a targeting list. They get to sign off those targeting lists, sign off the messaging journey. End of the day, it's their brand, it's their profile. They need to be happy with what we're going to send out. But at the same time, we know how to get people to respond. So it's just getting that balancing out right. And then obviously working with us to make sure we even send people the data so they can see a list of 1,000, 2,000, however many people are on it. And they know if any of those people respond, it's worth their time, because they can see their turnover, they can see their job title, they can see their sector. So they know anyone saying, oh, how much is it? Or why should I use you? Is worth them engaging with. And I think that's a key point to getting the data right at the front end. You're not talking to someone you don't want to talk to when they do bite, in their case.
I love that. And I think in my world, I love the education piece, because I find a lot of people think they know how to follow up. And what I'm hearing from you is that even in your world, that's one of the issues, is people aren't either following up consistently, or they don't know how to follow up, or don't know what follow-up looks like. So let's talk a little bit about what you wish people did.
Yeah, so it's funny. We literally give people, once they go live, so they get their go live email, if you like, which has got all their logins, etc. But we also attach to them a recommended follow-up process. So day 1 of positive response, LinkedIn message. Day 2, phone call. Day 3, LinkedIn message and email. Day 4, 5, another phone call, and so on, up to about 10 touch points from a positive lead and using those other touch points as well, so that you're not just sending them another 3 or 4 LinkedIn messages after they positively responded. You can call them, you can email them. We're giving you all that information to do that, and we're giving you the timescales on when to do it. So, like, I think that there needs to be consistency when following up on response to outreach, whether it's email, LinkedIn, whatever. You get a bite in that moment, and then people go off about their day and do whatever else they're doing in all the other stresses that entrepreneurs are living with. Payroll, got to pay the rent, et cetera, scaling the business, and taking that pain away from them of having to worry about going back to it by being consistent in the follow-up. It is a game changer. And a lot of people, as you mentioned, are just alien to it because they just don't come from that world. I think that's one of the values we have as a business, having a telemarketing background before we were a LinkedIn outreach company, that we've taken that value of follow-up and understanding of consistency of follow-up quite literally and quite descriptively for our clients, so they know how to do it. Now, we do still offer telemarketing services, but the majority of the time we just want our clients to do it, because at the end of the day, they know their business better than anyone else. And when someone's got that bite, one of our appointment setters can do it, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, they're not going to be able to talk about their business like you are.
Yeah. And I think that's key, is a lot of businesses, they don't know what they don't know. They talk to their prospects and they turn them into clients, but they don't know why or what they said that actually worked. So
100%.
I love that you're bringing a little bit of, I'm going to say, science to it, because I think that's the part that's missing, is the fundamentals and the follow-up. Now, a strange question. Oh, go ahead.
So it's funny you should say that. Our slogan back when we were a telemarketing company was the Lead Lab, obviously, and then it was the appliance of telemarketing science. Just because we believe, I mean, the reality, it's process-driven, but lab science, all sort of work. But yeah, totally right. Yeah, there is a science. There is a science in the consistency of follow-up, the timing of follow-up, etc.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that science for a second, because the strange question I was about to ask you is, I had somebody on who's a internet marketer, and in their universe, it's a 2.6 second. Somebody lands on a website and they've got 2.6 seconds to keep their attention. What's the turnaround or expectation with the work you're doing?
Well, it's a really good analogy that translates to LinkedIn outreach, because you've literally, people go in their LinkedIn inbox and they go, oh, yeah, no, and they delete, and they literally read the first line. We're all selfish human beings, right? And it always is it something for me? I.e., is someone trying to buy from me? And as soon as they realize it's not that, the only caveat of that is something that's going to make my life better, my business better. And you have to communicate that quickly. And the amount of people that say, my name's Toby Tagg, and I've done this and I've done that, and everyone's asleep and switched off before they even started, rather than straight to benefit. I've helped companies like yours generate £1 million in the last, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And I think those principles are the same from people keeping it a website. It's just translating that through to a LinkedIn message engagement, where you've got such a short attention span because they've got 10 messages in their inbox already. And the second someone bores them, and I mean the second, they've deleted it. They're on to the next message. Yeah, they're on to the next message. So it's totally normal. And that's why the content writing is a huge part of what we do as a business. Our content writer 17, 18 years ago when we started the business, they did it for email marketing. And over the last 7 or 8 years, they've restructured that. And from learning the hard way, understand exactly how to write that stuff for LinkedIn. And that's why we say about the AI tools, if you're going to do it yourself, like, it's great if you're going to do it yourself, and you've got to do it yourself and you don't know where to start. But at the same time, it won't be great. You need to, again, for the advice out there for, a one-man band entrepreneur, or even if a marketing director is looking to do it themselves and they think, oh, I've done email before. There's different nuances to LinkedIn messaging than there is to email messaging. So those tools will help you, but don't fully trust them. Then go and make it your own. Then go, because also the other thing LinkedIn's got a huge problem with is they don't want people using AI content at all. They've got a big problem as a business if people feel like they're going on there and speaking to AI companies, an AI person, rather than the actual person. Like, the whole website would probably go down in a couple of years if Toby Blatchford-Tagg was an AI person talking to the next person. So that's a really important part. And I think we've seen it ourselves where clients have tried to use AI integrated to their automation, and somehow LinkedIn work out that the AI messaging is automation and they'll ban your account. So
yeah,
stuff like that is super important.
I think that's I follow a lot of the LinkedIn people. It occurred to me, if I'm going to be on this platform, I should follow the people that are building the platform, and they are definitely watching AI posted content, and they're also watching, I think, my personal pet peeve is the badly written AI comments. It's like,
I know.
you're trying to connect with me as a human using generic copy and paste. I see it, I promise.
Yeah. Well, it's really funny for us. Like, one of our key selling points, like, we had a spell a couple of years ago where we were on AI wagon, if you like, because you sort of had to be.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you've got to be saying you're doing AI in some way with our system. And in some ways with some of our profiles that we provided to clients, we were doing that. But now it's almost flipped, where like now everything we do is not AI. Like, nothing we do is AI, because actually people are bored of it. There's so much rubbish out there, and it has its uses, don't get me wrong. And we use AI for automations and making things move quickly, but not for communication, because all the authenticity just vanishes out of it. And it's hard, but even someone like me, I can look at it and just see it's AI, which is crazy, right? So if you think I can just look at it and see it, there's no way LinkedIn don't work it out and just downgrade it.
And again, it's all algorithms. They can see these things. So
yeah, I was on a podcast last week, and one of the things I said about it, the problem with AI is it creates an average.
Yeah.
Now, in marketing, that's a huge problem, because no one wants an average. Like, it's great for knowledge and understanding stuff, but when it comes to marketing, an average is it's not a word you want. It's like, you're better off having a negative word than an average, because at least there's some shock power in it from a marketing perspective. Average is just like fall asleep.
Well, it's I get obsessed about algorithms, and for what it's worth, I spent countless hours using AI and trying to teach AI to not be crazy and weird like AI. But the big aha was the reason people join certain companies or work with certain companies is because they had an edge or a uniqueness. And I think what AI is teaching us all is, vanilla is okay. We don't need other flavors. Everybody just try vanilla. And it works okay for the people who have poor ideas because it averages them up. But for I look at the bell curve and the people with the great ideas,
dumbs them
for
down.
what it's worth. Yeah. And I saw it I actually trained one that knows my voice. And one day it tried to correct me and explain to me how that's not my voice, this is. And I'm like, okay, you and I are breaking up here.
It's over. It's not you, it's me.
Like, wait a minute, why am I arguing with a machine now, for the record, I love using it, to polish those edge ideas.
Of course.
But when I see people, and I think that's the piece people miss, there's a lot of copy and paste out there. People don't even read it. They just, AI said it, so it must be true.
Oh yeah, I think that's the journey a lot of people have been on the last 2 years, haven't they? They've gone from it's not knowing how to use it. It's this crazy tool. And people think you've got to use it this fully way, and I think everyone's sort of realized it has its values, but it's not as far along as people advise it to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially in the marketing world. I can't speak for other things. I think there's lots of technological uses that are way out of my game, but from a marketing perspective, it's not quite there yet. From a commenting, a messaging, a posting point of view, it's just not got that authenticity.
Well, and it's down to the point now where I see certain phrases. Yes, there's certain writing style, but it's also more and more there's words I see, and I'm like, okay, that's coming up a lot in my writing. And it's like, wait a minute. Those are my words, not yours.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think the scary thing is that you're contributing towards. When you actually create real content, they're pulling that information, which is mental when you think about it. That we're all contributing to what AI does and says, because it's creating the average from what we do. But yeah, it's been a real journey the last couple of years. We've tried telemarketing for AI multiple times and never quite got there. We've used it with LinkedIn automation, and it's never quite been there. There'll be a time, I think, in the future, but the time isn't yet.
We're not there yet. And
no.
I think that's, I'm obsessed with it, but here's my take on things. If you've ever heard of the Dunning-Kruger effect, it applies. And there's no quiz afterwards, but basically the short version is incompetent people learn a little bit and go, look at me, I'm smart. And then they become overconfident. Whereas
dumb.
On the flip side, it's like, no, you're still dangerous. Stay where you are. But true experts, they know what they don't know, so they become more cautious.
100%.
And I think that's what I'm seeing with AI is the people who have the least competency are the most confident. And it's the grown-ups are talking, everybody else sit down.
And it's so funny, it's so true. Because we have this, or our sales team have this quite regularly, where they'll come on and be like, oh, why didn't AI do this? And they're like, and to be fair, it's not been so much in the last 3 or 6 months, but a year and a half ago, well, AI should do this, AI should do that. And it's like, yeah, okay, we'll try this for you, and we'll integrate with this software for you. And it's never worked. And I get the CEO or the MD or the marketing director in these businesses that are like, I've got to push this, I've got to find this way to work. But it's just not, it's not working all of the time, or the majority of the time, I wouldn't say, in that space.
Well, and I think the big thing a lot of people miss, and I'm going to put you in the intersection, because I can't put you in a marketing category or a sales category, because you do both. And I think that's what AI is doing to the average person. Like, wow, look at me, I'm good at marketing and sales, and I'm going to be good at email, and LinkedIn is just another thing, it'll be fine. But you've got a career where you've studied these things, and you know why you do these things, and you know why you don't do these things. I mean, you're the one who can say with confidence, here's what's working now, and here's what used to work. Whereas I think most people haven't earned that knowledge to be able to say confidently, well, for me personally, I don't need proof that telemarketing is a thing of the past, because I never wanted to do it. So if I was the one to create the systems for it, guess what? It would never happen.
Well, I think
but you've actually done it.
Yeah, and I think for all the entrepreneurs out there that haven't done things, like, we're always trying new things. We massively believe in trying to try things with the lowest risk possible. And they always use the analogy of the 3 outcomes: worst outcome, likely outcome, and a great outcome. And if you can sort of live with the worst outcome, i.e. find a way to try things that aren't going to have a huge negative effect on you if the worst outcome comes, then try that thing. And I'm obviously really referring to marketing channels. We now guest on podcasts as an example. It takes time, but it's a trial of a risk, etc. We do lots of other things as well that we're trying. And that mentality came when we were doing telemarketing, and we tried LinkedIn outreach 10 years ago. So you've got to keep doing that, because the world's changing all the time. But at the end of the day, it's, from our point of view, it's about eyeballs and the lowest cost way of doing that. LinkedIn want you spending money on in-mails and ads. And I tell you, it costs a hell of a lot more to generate a lead in both of those two things than it does automated outreach. And I know that as a fact, because I'll tell you also why. Is if it was cheaper to do that, I'd be doing that for our clients and charging a retainer and keeping my clients that way. But it's definitely
I was
not.
about to say.
It's not. In-mails are great when you get small ones with your profile, where they give you 50 or whatever. But if you start scaling it, they start charging you like £1 for every single one, and it's actually outrageous compared to the cost per connecting and message you can get from an automation against that in-mail. The other thing is that in-mail comes up with sponsored message in your inbox. Well, Tell me the percentage of people that actually even bother opening that. It's like
Yeah,
when you're watching
you might as well
Netflix.
just say
Do you want to watch an
stranger
advert?
danger.
No, I don't. Stranger danger. Yeah, that's
We're
what it
about
should
to
say.
do something.
Stranger danger. That is a great. I'm going to use that if you don't mind. I'm going to steal that one.
It is yours,
yeah.
yours, my friend. You may have it.
Mm.
Now, I want to point out something that I'm hearing deeply in you. You're an expert, and you know what the little levers are to pull on. Whereas I think this is where most solopreneurs, especially, they just hit a bunch of buttons, close their eyes, and hope for results.
Mm.
And when something works, they're like, "Oh, how did I do that?"
Yeah. No, I get.
I loved your comment that if something else was cheaper, I'd be doing that. That to me is a testament to your skill as a craftsman, because most people don't know that that's actually how business should be.
Well, at the end of the day, we're a marketing agency, and it's really our key goal as a business is to retain clients, get clients and retain them. And if, like you say, just to repeat it, if it was easy to retain clients in those two spaces because clients were getting a better CPA, and that's the key word when it comes to one-man band marketing businesses or 50 million turnover businesses, it is about cost per acquisition. How much does it cost me to get a client? And the only way you're going to build a marketing business or any business, well, especially a marketing business, is providing the best CPA for your clients. And that principle goes to any small entrepreneur looking to grow their business. Create as low as possible CPAs as you can, whether it's SEO or emails or telemarketing or whatever it is you do. And every business is different. I think there's things that work in every business, any of those channels. But my old business partner back in the day, 15 odd years ago, he was the ex-FD of Mars, the chocolate bar in the UK, and they're a big group. They've got lots of other confectioneries, etc. And one thing he always said was, one, obviously follow the energy to make sure you do that, but also risk management, making sure that you do try these things, but not over try them, because you can. I know, especially as a small business owner myself, I've spent SEO is a great example for me. As a client, as a consumer, I've spent tens of thousands on SEO. I mean, tens of thousands with different SEO people, and got literally next to nothing from it. And just to give a little tool out to other people, we use Baby Love Growth, which is a really low cost. I think it's like £100, but you connect it to your website. But it's really great for the solo entrepreneur to improve how their website works with backlinks, with comments, with blogs, etc. Because a lot of these people, especially those small business owners, myself included, they don't really know how websites work because they might be in finance or whatever. And it really does a lot for you and guides you a lot. It's a really good tool out there for people looking to improve their website engagement at a low cost. Again, really low CPA. Don't be that idiot like me that spends 20 grand on SEO companies over 6 months a year. And I've done that with multiple ones and got absolutely nowhere. Again, trying things at low risk. And then if you get a buy, then maybe you go to a company and spend some serious money. LinkedIn outreach, do some connecting and messaging yourself. Try and be consistent. Try and do a bit of time with it. But at the same time, don't do it too small, because you're going to think, oh, it didn't work. I only sent 10 connection requests. But at the same time, if you get a glint of light from doing that, then we basically do that on steroids all day, every day. And it's going to work a load better, right? So that's a great advice, I think, for all entrepreneurs out there. It's building marketing pillars inside your business. The more marketing pillars you have inside your business, the stronger your business is. Which is about trying those pillars. If you don't try them, you're never going to have them in your business.
So I'm going to underline. I think it's you've got a bit of a scientific method, and you and I were meant to have a conversation, because that's my entire approach. I worked at Intuit way back when, and we had this process. They encouraged us to fail faster, and what that meant was we were required as employees to make reversible experiments. We could test things, and the key piece, and I think this is what a lot of entrepreneurs miss, is we had to have an actual client to experiment with us so that we got actual client feedback. Because one of the things I've seen time and time again, you put a bunch of engineers alone in a lab, they'll build a Frankenstein monster, and it's like, I didn't need that. I just needed a little.
Yeah, 100%. And it's the same. It's the same. You could take that analogy and attach it to my SEO spend. I could have done some smaller stuff, worked out that it wasn't right for us. Just that risk management piece, really, on new channels, because people can put so much in and get absolutely nothing. Because that channel might be great for your friend's finance business, but not great for your CRM business, whatever it may be.
I love that. And for what it's worth, I think you and I are going to have more conversations on this topic, because a lot of people, like with AI, they over delegate, they over trust. With marketing, there's a lot of trust us, will get you results. And me, if I can't see a return on investment and see a path to that return on investment, should I be actually investing?
It's a tough one. And I mean, the SEO is a really bad example, because the first thing an SEO company tell you is, oh, you won't see anything for 3 months. That's like, brilliant. Great.
How convenient.
Brilliant. I know. So I'd advise small businesses, if I'm honest with you, to try other channels first, because our channel is a prime example. There's lots of other channels out there where you can see results pretty much straight away. And I think as a small business, SEO is high risk, high reward. If you get it right, it's extremely valuable. But if you're a small business, you're better off starting in what I would consider safer channels, build those pillars. Then after that, go and try, when you've got a bit more recurring revenue, a bit more stability in the business from those other pillars, go and try the more higher risk, high reward pillars.
And I love that, because I'm always playing around. And for me, I like to have 1 or 2 proven systems. And then what I do is I'll put something new up against it and say, okay, here's the metrics. How do we get the results? And I think the big thing a lot of people don't do, which you pointed out, is you need to match the method, the strategy with your actual business, because there's no such thing as one size fits all in marketing.
100%. And people need advice from other people that don't really know. Again, it all comes back to me, especially for the small entrepreneurs. Try as many channels as you can with as little risk as possible, and then follow the energy.
I love that. Well, let's talk about where people can go to connect with you. So you obviously, they can find you on LinkedIn, and they can find you with your webinar. That feels like, to me, the best way to get to know you a little is follow you on LinkedIn and engage with you. Is that fair?
Totally, yeah. We've got lots of content. We post our clips from other podcasts, or we even post clips from our webinars. And then if it's still interested after you've watched a few clips or whatever, think, this would be worth us speaking with them, sign up for the webinar, or just go to our website and you can just book a normal demo. Just depends how you want to consume. Again, we're not a hard sales company, whatever route you go down. So feel free to come and have a chat with us. And if we can be helpful, we will be, because again, we're all selfish human beings. We believe that will come back to us in some shape or form in the future.
I love it. Now, is there anybody, so I like to make it easy for people. Is there anybody who shouldn't be reaching out? What are they believing in their business right now that makes them a bad fit to work with you?
That's a great question. Well, look, I think there's a couple of sectors where LinkedIn isn't great. Education is one. Like if you're trying to get into teachers and stuff like that, it's really difficult. Like healthcare, actually, in the US, we've got a couple of clients that do amazing. Healthcare in the UK is a dead fish. You can't generate leads at all on LinkedIn. So, I mean, there's a couple of sectors I would say that LinkedIn outreach isn't for you. Look, we try to, well, we work with lots of one-man bands. So we don't try to be like anyone's not for us, to be honest with you. We've got companies that turn over 50 million and they've got hundreds of their employees on our systems. So there's not really a right or wrong. I think there's what's right for you. We try to allow those price points to work. Like we've got clients that are paying us $5,000 a month, but the majority of our clients sit at $500-$600 a month, because that's where obviously the volume is and the majority of the clients. So look, anyone coming to try a new channel, you've got to be open-minded. You've also got to understand that we know what we're doing. We are going to work in conjunction with you with the copy, but at the same time, your business becomes our business because we make our money on long-term relationships. No one wants to just work with someone for $500. No one's making any money doing that. We make money when people use us every single month. Like our whole team internally are incentivized around retention. So when that client rebooks every month and we don't have long-term contracts, they get a piece of that because everyone's on the same page. Everyone's trying to achieve the same thing. So having a slightly open mind to how we believe things should be done on LinkedIn is sometimes a challenge we get. We get an old marketing person that has written 1,000 email campaigns and they think this is what should be. And look, end of the day, we will bow to our client. It's their brand. But we will often suggest a split test. Say, look, let's make some fun of this. We'll get half of the messaging journey doing your way, half of ours. We can look at the numbers at the end and we'll be the first to say we're wrong. And I can tell you that's not happened before. So, but you do get people like that, and that's fine. But I guess if I'm looking for one thing, it's like very old dog, new tricks is the sort of analogy that is not the best to work with.
Yeah. I love that. And I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that people who think that SEO is the be all and end all can keep moving.
Well, no,
unless,
no, I've got no problem. I wish my business was better at SEO. Let's put it that way. If clients have got a strong SEO pillar, then we can help them, give them a strong LinkedIn outreach pillar.
Well,
one doesn't need to live without the other.
I'd love to see, because what I'm hearing here is I'd love to see if they think SEO is the only way, you're not going to be a great fit. But if they're willing to put their ego aside and do a side-by-side split test, I think that would be fun to watch.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And look, end of the day, a clear thing is all good businesses are built on multiple marketing pillars. And if you like even us, we get 80-90% of our leads from LinkedIn outreach because we're good at it and we scale it. But I hate it. We've got 2 or 3 other channels. I wish it was more diverse because the world changes and everything changes and your whole business becomes a nightmare. So those people out there that are doing SEO, get in touch because that's great. You've got that channel. Let's give you another channel. Let's make your business grow quicker and be easier to sell in the future because it's got more substance to it.
All right. You and I are going to have another conversation because I am all in favor of finding the best channels. And like you, I cringe when there's one because anytime there's one, all it takes is one global pandemic and all of a sudden everything changes.
Yeah, I mean, look, a good example of it, same with clients, to be honest with you. That's why we like that we have lots of small entrepreneurs because pre-COVID, we had Kenko, they're part of the JDE group. They owe Kenko, Dow Egberts, the big coffee brands, 6 billion turnover, I think they are. And they had about 8 telemarketers with us at the time, pre-COVID, and we were more of a telemarketing company. And overnight, we lost all that. And so, it's the same principle with clients as it is with marketing channels. Trying to be as diverse as possible, again, gives you a more stable business, a more sellable business, and a more growable business because you're not just reliant on big fish constantly. It's great to have them, and we have a few. I'm not discrediting it, but it does give you that anxiety of, oh, God, what if that big client goes?
Yeah. And again, a big client, you got to be cautious. And I will second that. The value of the business, if you've got one big client, you don't have a business. You've got a job and a contract.
You've got a job, 100%. I couldn't agree more. And look, LinkedIn outreach is a great way of helping you get more smaller clients to diversify. And also, one thing I speak to a lot of clients, they get excited about is like, and we're really proud of, like we can go in, the amount of companies that come to us and they only sell in one country. And like, we literally go and open up a whole new world to them because they've not really had a route to market to go to the US, to go to Canada, to go to Europe. There's no real direct way for them to do that previously. Now on LinkedIn, it's just a tick box. It's not London anymore. It's Barcelona now for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And that's been great for us over the last 3 years. And it's been great to see that benefit for clients as well.
I love it. Well, I want to thank you, Toby, for being on the show and for sharing your amazing insights. There's a couple of people I know that need to meet you. Thank you for being on the show.
Pleasure. I really enjoyed it. And I'll send over links for the webinar and the website and stuff like that. If you want to put it on anything, then great. And yeah, happy to have a chat with anyone. Pleasure. Thanks for having me.